Professor Odu explained that the committee, reactivated about 5 weeks ago by Governor Siminalayi Fubara, is currently in its mitigation phase, which includes engaging flood-prone communities and distributing relief materials in Ahoda East, Ahoda West, Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni, and Abua Odwa local government areas. She disclosed that about 80% of the intervention funds had been utilized by the previous committee for projects such as the rehabilitation of IDP camps, installation of boreholes, and purchase of relief materials stored at the Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder. The Deputy Governor also said the committee will work with local government chairmen to ensure fair distribution of relief materials to both displaced persons and residents who chose to remain in their homes. Professor Odu attributed most cases of urban flooding in Port Harcourt to blocked drainage systems and indiscriminate dumping of refuse, stressing that flood prevention requires collective effort from all levels of government and residents. She added that each local government has been directed to set up a 13-member flood control committee to clear drains, repair culverts, and promote sanitation. The Deputy Governor also announced that a state delegation will visit the family of 2 children who recently died in a flood-related incident to deliver the government's condolence message and offer support. Akwa Ibom State Police Command have arrested the leader of a masquerade cultural group commonly called Epo Omana over alleged criminal activities, including illegal assembly, armed blockage of a public highway, and extortion in the state. A statement by the command's public relations officer, DSP Timfon John, in Uyu on Saturday said the suspect was arrested after a distress call received from a concerned citizen, which revealed that the masquerade cultural group was attacking citizens, blocking a public highway, and extorting money from members of the public. In a related development, one David Michael M., aged 34 years, of Ikot Obong Edog village, was arrested at Okana Onuk village while in possession of complete masquerade costumes, preparing to invade the area. The 2 suspects have been charged in court following a thorough investigation into the matter. The Commissioner of Police, Akwa Ibom State Command, CP Baba Mohammed Azare, has reassured the general public of the command's unwavering commitment to maintaining public safety and order. Members of the public are urged to continue to provide timely and useful information to the police to prevent crime and ensure that all communities remain safe and secure for lawful activities. Delta State Police Command has intercepted a Hayas bus loaded with large quantities of controlled substances, including codeine and tramadol, at a toll gate in Asaba, Delta State. According to the police public relations officer, SP Bright Edafe, the vehicle had its license plate concealed with the Delta State government's number and was heavily tinted, raising suspicion among operatives. When officers ordered the driver to stop, he attempted to flee but was eventually apprehended at Mami Market. Upon inspection, police discovered several bags filled with codeine and tramadol. The driver, identified as 46-year-old Ugo Chuku, admitted to covering the plate number to conceal the vehicle's contents and claimed that he was only transporting the drugs for others. Superintendent Edafe highlighted the seizure as an example of why tinted vehicles and covered license plates require strict regulation, noting the potential risk such concealment poses to public safety. The incident comes amid an ongoing national debate over the use of tinted glass. Following the Inspector General of Police's suspension of the Motor Vehicles Prohibition of Tinted Glass Act in compliance with the Federal High Court's directive issued in October 2025. Anambra State government has disowned an online message circulating on social media that urges voters in the state to click a link to access a supposed campaign fund allegedly provided by the Saludo campaign for the forthcoming governorship election. In a statement, Commissioner for Information, Dr. Law Amefo, clarified that neither Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo nor the state government has approved any campaign or initiative requiring citizens to visit external links or share personal information in exchange for money. He described the alleged 25,000 Naira campaign fund as fake and urged residents to disregard it. The government cautioned the public to remain vigilant, avoid suspicious links, and protect their personal data, stressing that the administration prioritizes the cyber safety and security of Anambra residents. Operatives of the Anti-Kidnapping Unit of Ebonyi State Police Command have foiled the kidnap attempt on the mother of a prominent individual in the Isata community, Isu, in Onitsha local government area. In a statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer, SP Joshua Okandu, and obtained by newsmen on Saturday, Okandu stated that the operatives acted on cultivated intelligence in achieving the feat. He noted that 3 suspects have been arrested as one of the members of the gang remains at large. One locally made single-barrel gun was recovered from the suspects. He added that they will be charged in court upon the conclusion of investigation. In a similar operation, the operatives have neutralized 2 suspected hoodlums during a raid on their hideout in the Iyonu community of Ishielo local government area. According to Okandu, the operation was carried out within the Iyonu Idodo forest, following credible intelligence on the activities of a criminal gang terrorizing the area. He added that on sighting the operatives, the hoodlums opened fire, prompting a fierce exchange of gunfire. At the end of the encounter, 2 suspects were neutralized. Kebbi State Police Command has confirmed that suspected bandits abducted the Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Alhaji Mohammed Sama'ila Bagudu, in Bagudu local government area. The command's public relations officer, CSP Nafiu Abubakar, disclosed this in a statement issued on Saturday in Birnin, Kebbi. According to Abubakar, the abduction occurred on Friday night around 8:20 p.m. when a group of armed men invaded Bagudu town and seized the lawmaker shortly after he had observed the Ishai prayer on his way home. Newsmen had reported late Friday that the chief press secretary to the governor, Ahmed Idris, said he had just received the information when contacted by the correspondent. The police spokesman added that the command had swiftly deployed a joint team comprising police tactical units, military personnel, and local vigilantes to pursue the abductors and secure the safe rescue of the deputy speaker. He added that the commissioner of police in the state, Mr. Bello Sani, had reiterated the command's determination to protect the lives and property of residents across the state. ATM reports that the abductors had yet to announce their demands, while the state government had not issued any formal statement on the incident or its latest developments. Yobe State Police Command has announced the escape of 1 condemned inmate, Abba Hassan, from the Maximum Security Custodial Center, Potiskum. The command, through its public relations officer, SP Dongus Abdul Karim, said the fugitive is a native of Borno State. The police warned the public to be vigilant and supports the command in the rearrest of the escaped convict. A statement by the command's PRO Saturday said members of the public security agencies, transport operators, community leaders, and vigilante groups within Yobe State and neighboring states are hereby advised to be vigilant and report any sighting or information that may lead to his location and prompt rearrest. The command advised public to report to the nearest police station or nearest correctional service facility or call the police emergency numbers. Armed bandits have abducted 5 people, including 2 women, during an attack on Gidan Maman Bazamfare in Zamfarawa, Kokon Waje district of Bungudu, a local government area, Zamfara State. The incident, which happened around 6 p.m. on Friday, was contained in a post shared by security analyst Zagazola Makama on Saturday on X. According to the report, the gunmen, armed with AK-47 rifles and other dangerous weapons, stormed the community and kidnapped 2 wives of a resident identified as Lawal, namely Hajo Lawal and Kulu Lawal. The attackers were also said to have abducted 3 other people along Kakara Dadin Zama village while heading to their hideout. Security agencies have reportedly intensified efforts to trace the victims and ensure their safe rescue. Zamfara State Chapter of the All Progressives Congress has unanimously selected President Bola Tinubu as its sole consensus candidate for the 2027 presidential election. The decision was reached on Saturday during a meeting on the party's executive members from the ward, local government, and state levels. Moving the motion, the senator representing Zamfara North Senatorial District, Senator Sahabi Yau, said the endorsement followed what he described as the president's tremendous achievements over the past 3 years. Seconding the motion, the member representing Maru Bongudu Federal Constituency, Abdul Malik Zubairu, said the decision reflected the confidence of the party members in the president's leadership. Speaking earlier, the APC leader in Zamfara State, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, called for unity among members to avoid the internal crisis that cost the party electoral victories in 2019. Yari commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his economic and security initiatives, noting the recent reduction in food prices. He assured farmers that farming implements would be made available at affordable prices in the next farming season. You're watching Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has announced significant financial interventions and workforce reforms to address the long-standing concerns of medical professionals, particularly members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isiaq Salako, disclosed this in a statement on Thursday, noting that President Bola Tinubu had approved the expedited payment of arrears owed to health workers, including members of NARD. In addition, the sum of 11.995 billion naira is being processed for release within 72 hours to settle other outstanding arrears, including the accoutrement allowance. Dr. Salako explained that all the payments are being made in line with the approved salary structure for the health sector. To address the strain caused by brain drain and prolonged working hours, the federal government has also granted special waivers to enable the massive recruitment of healthcare professionals across federal tertiary institutions. He noted that this recruitment drive is part of a broader strategy to ensure that Nigeria's health facilities are adequately staffed, safe and equipped to deliver quality healthcare services to citizens. On ongoing negotiations and industrial dialogue, Dr. Salako confirmed that collective bargaining discussions are continuing with the Nigerian Medical Association, of which NARD is an affiliate, the Joint Health Sector Unions, and the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. This development followed the announcement by NARD on October 26 on plans to commence an indefinite nationwide strike starting November 1, 2025. The latest action comes after a 5-hour meeting of the association's National Executive Council on Saturday. Federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to protect all Nigerians, regardless of their religious affiliation, following remarks by United States President Donald Trump describing Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged killings of Christians. President Trump, in a post on his social media platform, Truth Social, on Friday, claimed that Christianity faced an existential threat in Nigeria, alleging that radical Islamists were responsible for the mass slaughter of Christians and directed U.S. lawmakers to investigate the situation. Reacting to the statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through its spokesperson, Ki Miebi Ebienfa, said Nigeria remains committed to defending all citizens and upholding religious freedom. Ebienfa stated that Nigeria is a diverse nation that celebrates its multi-religious identity while combating violent extremism driven by criminal and political interests across parts of West Africa and the Sahel. He added that the government mourns all victims of violent extremism and continues to support the armed forces in their ongoing fight against terrorism and insurgency. The government reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining strong bilateral relations with the United States, describing both nations as allies in the pursuit of peace, democracy, and stability. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has begun an investigation into allegations of extortion made against some of its officials by Nigerian rapper Oladipupo Olabode Oladimeji, popularly known as Oladibs. Oladibs had accused EFCC operatives of forcefully obtaining the sum of 10 million naira from him before his release, following his arrest alongside individuals suspected of internet fraud. In a statement, the Commission said it takes the allegations seriously and has already summoned the officers involved to its headquarters. They have also been withdrawn from operational duties pending the outcome of the investigation. According to EFCC, the claims made by the artists do not represent the values of the Commission, noting that any personnel found guilty would face disciplinary action. The Commission further stated that if the allegations are discovered to be false or intended to tarnish its reputation, appropriate sanctions would also be taken against the accuser. EFCC urged the public to remain calm and await the outcome of its investigations as it continues its fight against economic and financial crimes across the country. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has disclosed that more than 80 containers of fake and substandard medicines and foods are currently being destroyed as part of its nationwide enforcement drive. The Director, Investigation and Enforcement, Chairman, Federal Task Force and NAFDAC, Dr. Martins Luyomad, made this known at the press briefing on Saturday to hint the public about a recent attack on its officials at the trade fair market in Lagos. Over the years, NAFDAC has battled the persistent challenge of fake, substandard and counterfeit medicines and food items flooding Nigerian markets, particularly in major commercial hubs in Lagos. He described the incidents, which occurred on Thursday, October 30th, 2025, as a serious threat to enforcement operations, saying that enforcement has gotten that dangerous for our officials, but someone has to do it. Luyomade lamented the alarming rate of fake and substandard products in Nigeria, particularly in major commercial hubs, noting that a lot of people benefit from the illicit trade. He commended the Nigerian Customs Service, led by Controller General Adewale Adeniyi, for ongoing collaboration and for handing over several containers of fake medicines to NAFDAC for destruction. He confirmed that several cartons of fake, banned and unwholesome products were confiscated during the operation, in line with the Counterfeit and Fake Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Foods Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Cap C34 LFN 2004. The agency thanks the Nigeria police and military for their professionalism during the raid and assured Nigerians of its continued commitment to protecting public health. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has hailed the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja, stopping the People's Democratic Party from holding its 2025 National Convention until it complies with all legal requirements. Wike described the ruling by Justice James Omotosho as a major step against impunity and a reaffirmation of due process within the PDP. Speaking after a meeting with party leaders and stakeholders in Abuja, he said the verdict would help restore order and discipline to the opposition party. The minister dismissed claims of external interference, insisting the PDP's crisis was self-inflicted through disregard for fairness and inclusivity. He commended the three party members who initiated the suits for defending internal democracy. In a communique read by former Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, stakeholders welcomed the court's intervention, saying it upheld the supremacy of the 1999 Constitution, the Electoral Act, INEC guidelines, and the PDP Constitution. According to the communique, the court confirmed Chief Dan Obe as the authentic National Vice Chairman, South-South of the PDP, and declared the appointment of Chief Emmanuel Ogidi null and void. It also upheld the expulsion of Ali Odefa and ruled that no convention can hold until all statutory provisions are met. The court further held that no valid national convention can hold until all are met. Party leaders pledged to abide by the judgment and work toward reconciliation and rebuilding the PDP on principles of fairness, justice, and inclusivity. National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has suspended 4 of its top officials following the recent court judgment that stops the party's planned 2025 National Convention. Those affected include the National Legal Advisor, Kamaldeen Ajibade, National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, Deputy Advisor, Okechukwu Osuoha, and National Organizing Secretary, Omaru Bature. PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunaba disclosed this while briefing journalists after an emergency NWC meeting held on Saturday at the party's Legacy House in Maitama, Abuja. He said the suspension, which will last for 1 month, was part of efforts by the party's leadership to restore order and ensure strict compliance with the court's directives, pending further review of the situation. Crisis within People's Democratic Party has escalated with the Senator Samuel Anyanwu-led National Working Committee announcing the suspension of the party's national chairman, Umar Damagum, citing allegations of incompetence, misappropriation of party funds, and pursuit of personal interest. Along with Damagum, National Publicity Secretary Debo Olungunagba and Deputy National Chairman South Taufik Arapaja were also suspended. All the suspended officers have been referred to the party's National Disciplinary Committee for further investigation and action. This move by the Anyanwu-led faction follows the earlier suspension of Anyanwu and several other key figures by the Damagum-led NWC. In a statement, Ologunagba confirmed that the decision was taken after an emergency meeting of the NWC in Abuja. The announcement came just days after a federal high court ruling halted the PDP's planned national convention, adding further pressure to the party's internal turmoil. During this period of suspension, the affected officials will cease to function in their respective roles. The Deputy National Secretary, Setonji Koshoedo, has been appointed to act as a National Secretary, while the National Director of Legal Services will oversee the activities of the legal department. The senator representing Kaduna South Senatorial District, Barrister Sunday Mashal Katong, has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressives Congress. In a statement issued on Saturday, Katong said his decision followed extensive consultations with constituents, political associates, and stakeholders, adding that the move was motivated by a genuine desire to serve his people more effectively. He explained that the decision aligns with the growing call from various groups within his constituency for greater collaboration with the administrations of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Uba Sani, both of whom he praised for their developmental focus and inclusive governance. Katung noted that his defection, alongside that of his colleague Honorable Daniel Amos and other political allies, was aimed at consolidating ongoing development efforts across Kaduna South. He described the APC's record in the state and at the federal level as reflective of equity, inclusion and progress. The lawmaker also appealed to his supporters and associates who may disagree with his move to respect the decision and maintain personal relationships built over time, emphasizing that political differences should not destroy mutual trust and friendship. His defection comes less than 24 hours after the Federal High Court in Abuja restrained the PDP from holding its planned 2025 National Convention, a development that has further deepened divisions within the opposition party. Federal government is seeking to deepen Chinese investment and cooperation in infrastructure development, technology transfer, and youth capacity building. It has emerged two key areas of collaboration the government is pursuing include the provision of specialized machinery to enhance the Federal Emergency Road Maintenance Agency's efficiency and the establishment of structured training programs to equip Nigerian youths with technical and mechanical skills in equipment operation and maintenance. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, emphasized that such cooperation will not only strengthen Nigeria's infrastructure base, but also promote youth empowerment, employment generation, and skill acquisition in line with the Renewed Hope agenda. This followed a week-long strategic visit to China by the minister, aimed at attracting greater participation of Chinese engineering and construction firms in Nigeria's road infrastructure renewal through public-private partnerships, equipment support, and human capital development. The visit also sought to strengthen the implementation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda by leveraging global expertise and investment to boost job creation, commerce, and connectivity. House of Representatives has commenced investigation into the deduction of taxes and sundry charges from the earnings of civil and public servants, as well as multiple bank charges imposed on customers' accounts across the country. Speaking at the inauguration of the ad hoc committee charged with the investigation, Chairman of the committee, Honorable Kelechi Wogu, said the committee was established in response to mounting concerns from civil servants and ordinary Nigerians over the growing complexities and inconsistencies in tax deductions and banking fees. Wogu described the inauguration as a pivotal step in the National Assembly's commitment to transparency, fairness, and accountability, noting that the House could no longer ignore the frustrations of citizens who suffer unexplained deductions from their salaries and bank accounts. According to him, the committee was set up to respond to citizens' concerns and ensure that financial practices across both government and banking institutions align with principles of justice and equity, adding that the issue have contributed to confusion and a lack of trust among our populace. Honorable Wogu called for full cooperation and participation from all stakeholders, including government agencies, banks, regulatory bodies, and civil society organizations. He expressed optimism that the investigation would lead to meaningful policy and institutional changes that would improve financial fairness and accountability in the country. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, reiterated the commitment of the 10th National Assembly to promoting fairness, transparency, and accountability in Nigeria's financial system, particularly as it concerns tax deductions and multiple bank charges burdening citizens. The Speaker, who was represented by the Chief Whip of the House, Honorable Usman Komo, said the establishment of the committee reflected the legislature's responsiveness to the cries of Nigerians who have continued to experience arbitrary deductions from their salaries and accounts, both by government agencies and financial institutions. He stressed that the House owed it to Nigerians to ensure financial justice, especially for civil and public servants whose incomes are already overstretched. The Speaker also decried the growing problem of multiple and unclear bank charges, noting that such practices undermine public confidence and worsen the economic hardship faced by citizens. Abbas urged the committee to conduct its assignment with integrity, objectivity, and commitment to the people, engaging all relevant stakeholders to ensure a comprehensive investigation that will lead to practical reforms. Abbas emphasized that an assignment was part of a broader legislative effort to ensure that Nigerians are not unfairly treated by the institutions meant to serve them, warning that the House would not tolerate exploitative practices in either the public or private sectors.
It is very bad for government to make laws, yet we don't obey them. I want to beg everybody, no matter how placed you are or your organization is being placed, we will not take it for granted. We say a lot of things. You've had the tax deduction, you had everything here. You won't also be happy that after your mother or your father, after job well done, yet his pensions has already been deducted from companies or banks, but yet they can't get it. We won't take that again. Enough is enough. No matter whoever they know, we also know who you know. This job, we'll get to the root of it this time.
And the issue to be investigated has to do with the public and civil servant interests in relation to charges and to some extent double deductions. I want to implore the two of you, the committee on one hand, who are my colleagues, who I have no doubt in my mind that with the array and assembly of members seated here under the leadership of Kelechi as chairman, I have no doubt in my mind that God's willing, they will do justice to the topic and the issue at hand.
A Rep Speaker, House of Reps, mandates of the committee include investigating the nature and application of taxes, levies and salary deductions affecting civil and public servants, as well as probing possible cases of non-remittance of deducted funds. The committee will also examine the range of bank charges, including value-added tax applied to existing fees, with the aim of ensuring transparency and fairness. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring a steady and uninterrupted supply of premium motor spirit and automotive gas oil, which is diesel, nationwide, with a daily production capacity exceeding the domestic demand. Since commencing petrol production in September 2024, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has played a pivotal role in ensuring price stability, reducing the cost of petrol, aimed at stabilizing the market and easing the burden on consumers. It has also eliminated the recurring fuel scarcity and long queues at filling stations that Nigeria often experienced, particularly during festive periods. Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer, Dangote Industries Limited, Anthony Chiejina, in a statement noted that the refinery's operations are driven by the company's dedication to supporting national energy stability and consumer confidence. Chiejina noted that improved local production of petroleum products has helped stabilize the exchange rate and strengthen the naira. He added that the prevalence of dumping in the past years discouraged investors from establishing industries in Nigeria, as imported products flooded the market at unstable prices, undermining local production. The new tariff policy, he noted, would benefit local refiners and encourage fresh investments in the downstream oil sector, thereby strengthening Nigeria's industrial base and creating more jobs. Chiejina commended the foresight of President Bola Tinubu for approving the tariff policy aimed at strengthening and transforming Nigeria's downstream oil and gas sector. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, we will continue with the rest of the stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now to the rest of our stories. Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan won a landslide election victory. Official results showed on Saturday after key candidates were jailed or barred from a vote, which triggered days of violent protest. The final result showed Hassan won 97.66% of the votes, dominating every constituency, the Electoral Commission announced on state television. A quick swearing-in ceremony would take place on Saturday, state TV said. The main opposition party, Chadema, says hundreds of people have been killed by security forces since protests broke out on election day on Wednesday. Hassan was elevated from vice president on the sudden death of her predecessor, John Magufuli, in 2021. She has faced opposition from parts of the army and Magufuli's allies and sought to cement her position with an emphatic win, analysts say. Rights groups say she oversaw a wave of terror in the Eastern African nation ahead of the vote, including the stirring of high-profile abductions that escalated in the final days. Chadema was barred from taking part in the election, and its leader was put on trial for treason. Despite a heavy security presence, election day descended into chaos as crowds took to the streets across the country, tearing down her posters and attacking police and polling stations, leading to an internet shutdown and curfew. United States President Donald Trump has declared Nigeria a country of particular concern over alleged killings of Christians. In a statement posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, on Friday, Trump said Christianity faces an existential threat in Nigeria, describing the alleged killing as a mass slaughter. The U.S. president added that the United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening, and directed Congressman Riley Moore and House Appropriations Chairman Tom Cole to investigate the matter. In September, the federal government described claims of a systemic genocide against Christians as false, baseless, despicable, and divisive. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said portraying Nigeria's insecurity as a religious conflict was a gross misrepresentation of reality. Meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria said Christian communities have suffered multiple attacks resulting in loss of lives. CAN President Archbishop Daniel Oko urged the government to take stronger action to protect citizens and bring perpetrators to justice. The association emphasized that it has consistently documented religiously motivated attacks, collaborated with international bodies, and appealed to the International Criminal Court for intervention. Greece's conservative government is facing backlash after announcing the closure of 204 post offices, many located on islands, as part of a surprise cost-cutting initiative. The decision, set to take effect Monday, has drawn criticism from mayors, opposition parties, and even members of the ruling party. The Central Union of Greek Municipalities warned that the closures would leave large areas with high population density and significant economic activity completely deprived of services. Protests are planned across the country on Monday, with some government lawmakers expressing shock over the move. In response, Hellenic Post said the affected branches had minimal commercial activity and overlap with neighboring locations, adding that improved door-to-door delivery would offset the impact. The company is owned by Growth Fund, the state investment body created during Greece's financial crisis to manage and optimize public assets. And here now is our sports news. Fulham star Alex Iwobi is confident the Super Eagles will earn a spot at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Eric Chell's side managed to secure a place in the playoffs after a poor start to their qualifying campaign. Nigeria finished second in Group C behind the Bafana of South Africa. The Super Eagles will face the Panthers of Gabon in the semi-final of the playoffs on Thursday, 13 November in Rabat, Morocco. It will be said they will do their best to secure a place at the Mundial. Barcelona coach Hansi Flick said Saturday he will protect teenage star Lamine Yamal after recent criticism. The 18-year-old winger struggled in the Clásico last weekend as champions Barca fell to a defeat that left them 5 points behind La Liga leaders Real Madrid. Yamal was also in the spotlight for comments before the game insinuating Madrid steal and complain, which riled Los Blancos fans and a big part of the Spanish media. Yamal has been struggling with a groin injury for a few weeks, and although he started the Clásico, he put in a subdued performance and still seemed affected by the issue. The German coach said Robert Lewandowski and Dani Olmo were available again after injury, while Barca are still without Pedri Gonzalez, Gavi, and Joan Garcia, among others. Flick explained veteran striker Lewandowski and playmaker Olmo's returns had helped raise the quality in training. The Catalans host Elche at the Olympic Stadium, with the promoted side coached by Eda Sarabia, who was a former Barca assistant coach under Quique Setién. Elche are in mid-table after a strong start to the season, having suffered only 2 defeats, and Flick said they play fantastic football. And now to our entertainment news. American rapper Nicki Minaj has expressed concern over the persecution of Christians globally, describing it as dangerous for the world to ignore ongoing acts of religious violence. This is even as the rapper commended U.S. President Donald Trump and his team for designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern over religious freedom violations. Minaj, in a post on X on Saturday, said she felt a deep sense of gratitude for living in a country where people can freely worship God, stressing that no group should ever be targeted for their faith. She noted that several countries around the world are facing religious persecution and urged people not to turn a blind eye to such injustices.